Let's talk about one of the most incredible and honestly controversial claims in the history of modern archaeology. We're digging into the story of Ron Wyatt, an amateur archaeologist who claimed he found something that people have been searching for centuries, the legendary Ark of the Covenant. But it's where he said he found it that makes this story truly astonishing. So let's just start with that. The core claim, right from the man himself. January 6th, 1982, he says he found a hidden chamber right under the spot where Christ was crucified, and inside was the Ark. I mean, that is a massive claim. So how on earth did he say he found it? You've got to ask, right? Of all the places in Jerusalem rich with history and holy sites, why dig there? It's not like he had some ancient treasure map. According to Wyatt, it wasn't research or texts that led him to that spot. It was something else. You see, Wyatt was in Israel for something completely different. He was actually hoping to find old chariot parts in the Red Sea, believe it or not. But he got a really bad sunburn, and it kind of sidelined his plans. So while he was just walking near the Damascus Gate, waiting for his flight home, something really strange happened. He described this moment as if some supernatural power literally took control of his body. He was adamant this wasn't him. It wasn't a conscious thought. His hand pointed, and his mouth spoke completely on its own. For Ron Wyatt, this bizarre, involuntary moment was it. It was a divine sign, a direct order to start the research and the dig that would take over the next few years of his life. And so with that truly bizarre sign as his only guide, Wyatt starts digging. And what he says he uncovered led him to a theory of how the Ark of the Covenant could have stayed hidden, completely undisturbed, for over 2,500 years. Okay, so here's the timeline that Wyatt lays out. He says it all starts way back around 600 BC. The Babylonians are coming, so the priests secretly smuggle the Ark out of the temple and hide it away in a cave system. Flash forward hundreds of years to about 30 AD, Christ is on the cross, and the Gospels say there was an earthquake that rent the rock. Wyatt believed that earthquake created a fissure directly above the hidden chamber. And then, almost 2,000 years later, he comes along and breaks through. As he and his team dug down, Wyatt said they started finding things he saw as direct proof. He reported finding 3 cutouts in the cliff face, which he figured were for the signs that listed the crimes of the crucified. He found a hole chiseled into the rock, a cross hole. And this was the big one. He claimed to find an earthquake crack leading straight down from that cross hole, pointing directly to where he'd eventually find the chamber. All right, but here's where the story goes from an incredible archaeological claim to something else entirely. Wyatt didn't just claim he found the Ark. He claimed to have found a direct physical link between the crucifixion happening above and the artifact hidden deep in the earth below. This is the absolute centerpiece of Wyatt's entire claim. He argued that when that centurion's spear pierced Christ's side, the blood and water that flowed out didn't just soak into the ground. No. He claimed it trickled down into that earthquake crack he found, seeped through the stone ceiling of the hidden cave, and dripped directly onto the mercy seat of the Ark of the Covenant. For Wyatt, this wasn't just a coincidence. This was everything. In the Old Testament, the high priest would enter the sanctuary on the Day of Atonement and sprinkle the blood of a sacrifice on the mercy seat. Wyatt claimed this event was the literal final sacrifice. Christ's own blood physically anointing the holiest object in the world, perfectly tying the Old Covenant to the New. And if you thought that was the most unbelievable part, just wait. Because Wyatt says he didn't just see the blood. He claims he managed to carefully scrape a sample of this dark, dried substance off the mercy seat and have it analyzed. And the results he reported were even more startling than the discovery itself. The result he claimed to get, it was, by all known laws of human genetics, completely impossible. The blood, he said, had only 24 chromosomes. So think about it. You and I, we have 46 chromosomes. We get 23 from our mother and 23 from our father. This sample, Wyatt said, had a full set of 23 chromosomes from a human mother, but only one single Y chromosome from the paternal side and nothing else. To Wyatt, this was scientific proof of the virgin birth, a being who was fully human through his mother, but whose father was not human. But he wasn't done. He added another layer, claiming that when the lab rehydrated the dried blood with a saline solution, the white blood cells were found to be alive. To him, this was tangible proof of the biblical idea that Christ's body would not see corruption. The blood itself was, in his view, physically and miraculously unique. So for Wyatt, this wasn't just some historical artifact to be put in a museum. No, he believed it came with a very specific and very urgent message for our time, for all of humanity, really. Now, according to his testimony, Wyatt wasn't alone in that chamber. He claims he met 4 angels. He said they helped him move the incredibly heavy mercy seat and that one of them gave him a direct instruction that the tables of stone, the original 10 Commandments, were to be brought out and shown to the world along with the blood evidence. But only at a very specific time in the future, right when a mark of the beast law is enforced. And he laid out what he believed that future choice would be, and it's pretty stark. On one side, you have the seal of God. He said that's for people who keep God's 10 Commandments exactly as written. On the other side, you have the mark of the beast, and that, he said, is for people who choose to follow man-made laws and traditions that force them to break God's commandments. So, what's the bottom line here, according to Ron Wyatt? His whole discovery was meant to be this final, physical proof of Christ's sacrifice. It was a tangible call to action for every single person on Earth to seek forgiveness and change their lives before humanity is faced with that final choice. So where does that leave us? Look, it is a story that mainstream archaeology and religious organizations absolutely do not recognize. It's highly controversial, but it continues to fascinate people. It's this incredible weave of archaeology, theology, and deeply personal testimony that, whether you believe it or not, really challenges our ideas about faith, about proof, and about the power of history's greatest mysteries.